A very good morning to everyone, and welcome to our 172 webinar of our Saturday webinar series. I am Pragya Mishra, working as business executive at the Managed Center for Innovation and Agripreneurship. And as we proceed with today's session, I would like to provide a brief overview of Managed CIA to all the participants and to our speakers. Managed CIA stands as a center of excellence in agribusiness incubation, situated at National Institute of Agricultural Extension Management Manage. And our center has guided over 754 entrepreneurs and nurtured over 383 startups across diverse agricultural sectors. And our center has trained startups in crucial areas of agriculture and allied sectors and providing street-first support. Our center has played a key role in assisting agripreneurs in refining their concepts and expanding their agri-ventures. The inception of this open to all webinar series by Manage CIA aims to extend its reach and service to a larger number of agri entrepreneurs across India. This is conducted every Saturday, and these webinars cover a wide array of topics and featuring speakers from diverse domains. So today we are conducting our session on, excuse me, just a minute.
Just take your water, no issues. Pragya, take your water, and Amit, you can continue, no? Whatever, whomever.
Yes, thank you. I can see Renuka ma'am also is there. I just want to check with ma'am. I hope you can able to load the audio also.
Yes, now I'm able to unmute. Thank you so much and sorry for the glitch.
No issue, madam. So as Pragya was informing about the incubation center, so currently we have trained more than 700 plus participants and 383 startups we have incubated. Out of these, around 158 startups got the funding from the management, which close to 15 crores of the funds. And yes, this is the Saturday webinar series. I think the participants are more aware, those who are attending regularly. Since last 3 years, we are conducting this training program. And for today, as we can see on the screen, the two eminent speakers are joined us, who are the leading agri startups in this space. And the topic for the today's webinar is the women-led agri startups, technologies, and the impact. And we will start with our first speaker, Dr. Renuka Karandikar. He is the co-founder and the CEO of BioPrime Agri Solutions Private Limited. Dr. Renuka, after completing her doctoral
Yeah, can you
in
mute
research.
your this one? Please mute, Pragya.
Yes,
You can
yes,
mute
sir,
your.
I can continue, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I'll continue with introducing our speaker, Dr. Renuka Karandikar. She is the co-founder and chief executive officer of BioPrime Agri Solutions Private Limited. She is holding a PhD in plant science from University of Pune. She has further advanced her expertise through a postdoctoral fellowship in genetic engineering in collaboration with Cambia, an Australian company. And she possesses a wealth of knowledge with a career spanning over 13 years of dedicated experience in bioactives. Her contributions include a filed patent for the large-scale production of specific class of metabolites. In her role, she assumes responsibility for the development and high-throughput screening of bioactives. Dr. Renuka brings extensive experience of over 15 years of proficiency in plant tissue culture and the design and execution of laboratory and field tests. Her academic accomplishments are reflected in the publication of 12 research papers in peer-reviewed journals, underscoring her commitment to advancing the scientific knowledge in her field. So, with this brief introduction, I would like to hand over the session to ma'am.
Thank you, everybody. All, for giving this opportunity. everybody to mute because I can hear it. Yeah, thank you so much. So thank you for the warm welcome. It's a privilege to be here. I also had an opportunity when we started BioPrime to visit Manage. So I'm very well aware of the incredible work that Manage is doing in training students in agriculture domain in all respects, actually. So today I'm here to share about our journey in BioPrime. BioPrime started in 2016, and as you might have heard, we are three co-founders who come with a lot of experience and academic background. So from an academic directly transitioning into a startup mode was one of the toughest challenge that we had. So the question always, is in front of people who want to start up is how do you start up? When do you start up and with what do you start up? So the most important thing obviously is an idea. What idea do you want to, have for your startup? And we struggled quite a lot. We just knew that we wanted to do something on our own, but not necessarily had a clear path towards what we wanted to do. And since we come from an academic background, we were very removed from the agriculture and the daily challenges that the field is facing today. So we took almost 1 year's time to be on the field, to work with the farmers, to work with the growers, to work with agri input companies, to work with seed companies, just so that we could understand what is the complexities of problem and also understand on the basis of our previous experience, where is the maximum fitment. So we took a long time to actually, get started. And I think it's very important that you, before directly jumping into an idea, it's very important to validate your idea. It has to be a very big problem that you have to address. It cannot be a very small or a niche problem that you address, because then when you go and try to sell in the market, there's only a limited customer segment that is available. So we understood what are the problems, and we understood what our expertise is and where both of these, fit into each other. That is where we decided that we wanted to work on agri inputs. The reason being, India was facing a lot of losses in productivity because of climatic fluctuations. B, we also saw that everything that is there in the agriculture market today, uh, either technology wise or actually the product wise, is something that we import from outside. So there was nothing that was developed in India for the Indian farmers. And if you look at our farming systems and if you look at Western farming systems, then they're completely different. So we thought that, there is so much better that we could do in agri inputs and solve specific problems of our farmers by developing technology that is very specific to our needs, which can of course then be extended to Southeast Asia because they have a similar farming systems in place. So now we understood what the problem is and what we can solve. On the way, we were also, able to, get mentorship. And one of the key things to validate whether this is a great idea to pursue or not was the advice that we got from a mentor. Uh, the mentor said that, please look at national goals. Because when the nation is stating the problems and the government is stating its goals and problems, they're definitely large problems. They're definitely very huge problems. So I also want to pass that message on to the students here that look at very large problems, look at what the government is looking at, and you will get your leads into what are very huge problems and what are the pressing needs. So that can be a very good, indicator or a north star on which you can start building. The next, so the first question is solved, which is idea, right? Now the next question is, how do you start up? How do you put things into place? How do you actually get things rolling? And we come from a very typical middle class family, okay? So leaving our academic research jobs and getting into entrepreneurship from a family perspective was also quite challenging, because we've all been brought up that पढ़ाई करो, अच्छे से पढ़ो लिखो और अच्छा job ढूंढो और अच्छा job करो. We've all been brought up with that mindset. The younger generation definitely has seen a lot of startups become successful, and therefore there's a certain recognition of validation around starting up, which wasn't there earlier. So there was this family or support that was also critical, that had to be gathered. The next part was where do you start up? So I was saying, we come from a very typical middle class family, and we hear all these stories of Apple starting in a garage, Microsoft starting from somebody's living room. And when you work in agriculture, you can't really start from a garage or a living room. You need more support, you need more infrastructure, you need all of that availability. So you have to look at places where these kind of things are available. And thankfully, we've seen that a lot of incubators have emerged. A lot of agri incubators are now in place. When we started, there was no specific agri incubator. So we were supported by National Chemical Laboratory, which has a biotech business incubator. And that's how we were able to access the labs required to develop testings, required to develop the validations, and we didn't have to spend so much on the infrastructure, which reduced the risks associated with the startup. We didn't have any money, so we accessed every kind of grant, funding, awards that were available. So we started scouting according to the stage. We started scouting for different government grants, and I'm very happy to say that we are what we are thanks to a lot of government grants and funding and support that has been available. So we got BIRAC, which is Department of Biotechnology's arm. We got their proof of concept funding, which is a very unique scheme, which gives you funding just to test whether what you have thought is possible or not. So that part is called proof of concept. So there's no actual prototype that has to be ready. You have an idea, you say that based on literature, I feel that this might be successful, and you have to present your business case, and you get funding up to 50 lakhs, which is a quite significant amount. We also pursued a lot of awards, because award money is free money, right? And it also validates your idea, and it also gives you an opportunity to connect with a lot of influential people in the area that you're working. So, and applying for grants and awards, people can be a full-time job. So my suggestion here is, while you chase for money that is coming from the government and money that's coming from the award, you must choose 3 or 4 applications that you want to do in a year, which fit your criteria. Because if you keep doing this, I'm telling you, literally the whole year you will spend just writing grants and just chasing awards. So choose 3 or 4 that fit your criteria, where you are, which is your stage, and do that. And you can, out of that, whatever you get this year is great, but if you don't, then move on to the next ones in the next year. So you have to balance the money that comes in. Unfortunately, with the grants, there could be delays, because there are ministerial clearances that are in place. So sometimes, depending upon national agendas, there could be there are COVID-like situations that happen. So the agendas of the government can shift, and therefore focus can shift. So don't bank only on this, right? You have to make sure that you have a constant influx of funding coming, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Because if you decide that I've got this grant and it will take me to my next step just basis this grant, then a sense of warning here is, please make sure that there's some other line of funding to supplement it, okay? The next thing I want to tell, which a lot of, especially if you are a technology oriented person, then the next thing I want to say is, about technology. Um, we all, especially us being scientists, we all love technology and we love working on technology. And so we could easily be lost just in the fun of developing the technology. So you have to constantly remind yourself and keep checking whether what you are developing is relevant to the people that you're solving the problem for or not. So even if you feel you're not ready, and especially if you feel you're not ready, you should take whatever you have and give it in the hands of the person who is actually going to use it and pay for it. He will tell you घटिया है, he will tell you ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है, whatever. But it will give you an idea of what you should focus on and what you should not focus on, and that will help reduce the cycle. So this is something that we followed very early on. Even at a very early prototype stage, we were putting our agri inputs into the market, and we got a lot of feedback from the farmers. We got a lot of feedback from institutional clients, which helped us shorten our cycle of product development. Had we done it ourselves, we would have waited till everything was perfect and probably would have ended up with a product that did not address the farmer's needs, that did not fit in the farmer's bracket. So this is a very important lesson for us, is put your product out there very early and be prepared to receive a lot of negative comments, right? So we also received a lot of negative comments. We also failed a lot of times. And only by working on those failures did we get to a success. So I'll give you a story of the failure, one of the failures or one of our best learning lessons that we've had. So when the product was ready, we were testing it out with a corporate client. The corporate client gave us a narrative on what the product should do. It was for rice, and the narrative was that it should be able to solve for the
We are not able to hear you, ma'am.
I lost connection for a while. I hope you can hear me, right?
Yeah, we lost for a few seconds, ma'am. Last 5 to 10 seconds only.
Yeah. So they told us very specifically that for rice, we want to solve the problem of delayed transplantations if the monsoon shifts. And we took that as a metric and developed a product. It worked fantastically. The team had tested it, validated it, and we were ready to launch the product into the market. And we put a massive amount of product into the market. At least by our standards, as a startup standard, it was a massive amount into the market. And we started hearing from their field team that the product is not performing, the product is not performing, the product is not performing. And we were so worried because we had put almost 1/3 of our grant money simply into getting the resources to make the product. So that was a huge, huge amount of money locked up. And if the product would have failed, we would have been in a very serious trouble. So we went to the field and we talked to the farmers, and we understood that the farmer wanted visual indicators. The farmers wanted to see that his rice is looking green. He didn't want to see if he had more tillers. He wanted to see if the rice was green. And it was not a factor that we were focusing on at all. And then we had to change the communication of the product, saying that we are not targeting greenness, but we are targeting this factor, and the product got sold. But this was a very important learning lesson for us, that you need to be on the ground to understand what the farmer sees and how he sees it. So even a successful product can become unsuccessful if you focus on the wrong metrics, is what I wanted to, kind of pass our learning here. Once you have, all of this in place, once you are confident, then, comes the phase where you can say that, do I want to raise financial or institutional funding or not? I think right now, the way the entire ecosystem is being built up is, we are celebrating entrepreneurs who raise money, and we are not celebrating, therefore, entrepreneurs who are not raising money. And I want to just leave you guys, because I see that I'm almost towards end of my time. But I want to just leave you guys with this thought that not every business needs to raise money, okay? It's not necessary for every business to raise money, and raising money is not a metrics of success. तो ये जरूरी नहीं है कि VC फंडिंग लेना है और VC फंडिंग लो तो ही आप सक्सेसफुल हो, is a very important factor that you should decide. When should you take VC funding? You should take venture funding if you think that you are ready with everything. You are ready with the product. You are ready with um, uh, the fit of the product and the market. So there's a product that the market loves, and the market is willing to pay the money and buy the product. You cannot expect to solve your problems by throwing money of it, okay? So अगर आपका product बिक नहीं रहा है तो ये बिल्कुल मत सोचिए कि let's raise funds and if we throw money at the problem then the solution will appear. That's the worst thing that you can do, okay? So make sure that you raise money when money is the enabler, when money can solve problem for you, when it is a question of scale कि आज मैं इतना बेच रहा हूँ, as opposed to that if I scale 1,000 times, 10,000 times, then I can make a lot of money. That time you should raise money. But till that time, you should find every way possible to fund this yourself, fund this with funds, grants, award money, and the best is customer money. The most important money is customer money, because if the customer is willing to pay you, then that means you've got something right, and the customer is also going to give you feedback. He's going to tell you what he hates about your product, that will tell you what you should work on. So make sure you focus on customer money. You make sure when you talk, you don't say कि मेरा startup ने इतना funding उठाया है. You should talk about मेरे startup ने इतने customer convert किए हैं. Let's all of us also work in changing what is cool. Let's work on changing the narrative कि मेरे पास इतने customer है, that's why I'm a cooler startup, as opposed to मेरे पास इतना funding है इसलिए I'm a cooler startup, okay? So that's couple of learnings from Bioprime. We work in the biological sector, which means we work on discovery of molecules and microbes. We have a fantastic lab setup. We have over 5,000 square feet of lab facilities, which is one of the state-of-art facilities. And in microbes, we have one of the largest collection of microbes in the country. We have 17,700 microbes collected from Pan India, which makes us one of the largest libraries of microbes in Asia. And we're looking at multiple applications of these molecules and microbes in plant health, climate mitigation, soil health, plant protection, etc. So last couple of sentences just to tell you who Bioprime is. I'm eager to hear what the students have to say, and I hope there are a lot of students here who are looking at starting their startups. I'm happy to catch up with students who have ideas and need advice. Thank you so much once again for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Renuka ma'am. It's a really wonderful story to hear from you, despite of you having a very good experience and the academic background. You started into your own means. Of course, it is one kind of credential for them to get the awards and to get the funds, but you need to get money from the customer at the end, and who actually decides whether your startup is successful. Feedback, which is more crucial, where the startups may neglect this part, which we also observe during the early stage. But it's really a great learning from your session, ma'am. So definitely there will be a lot of questions are there from the participants' mind. Definitely there are good startups also joined with us. If you have any questions, do put these questions in the chat box, or you may raise hands, directly ask questions to the speaker. But that we will take up after our second speaker session. So with this note, we'll thank you to Renuka ma'am, and we welcome Dr. Lisa for her session. And we'll take up both the speakers' questions at the end. Thank you.
Hello, Lisa. Okay. Um, I'll start with introducing our second speaker for today's session. Dr. Lisa Gupta. She is the co-founder of InfoFarms. She has PhD in medicines from Justus Liebig University, Gießen, Germany, with an extensive background in neurodegenerative diseases. She has an 8 years of research experience, notably specializing in animal models of multiple sclerosis for the past 5 years now, and her proficiency extends to navigating applications with the state authorities, specifically in Germany. Dr. Lisa has collaborated closely with the animal welfare officer, contributing to the refinement of animal experimental models and ensuring ethical practices in research. She is an active cultivator of research collaborations. Dr. Lisa boasts a commendable affiliation with the colleagues, showcasing her ability to seamlessly integrate into and energize the multicultural work environment. So with this short introduction, I would like to hand over the session to ma'am.
Thank you so much. Firstly, I would like to, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're audible, ma'am.
Perfect. Firstly, I would like to thank Manage for inviting me here and considering me worthy enough for such a huge platform. And the work that Manage is doing in educating the upcoming entrepreneurs by organizing such boot camps and cohorts and so many sessions. It's a huge task and it's the need of the hour. And I would like to highlight to the participants that this is very important in the initial stages if you are planning to become an entrepreneur, because initially we also uh, grants, which is a huge support to a startup, and but also the education, the awareness, and the marketing that comes along with it is very and uh, bring you guys in.
The screen is started loaded, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, good to go, ma'am. You can start.
Okay. So SNL Innovations is a food solutions company, and we work in the upcycling of fruits and vegetables. Our brand name is InnoFarms, and the problem statement we are working on on the top shelf, which are wastage at farm gate, a very low amount of fruit and vegetable processing that happens in India, and all the facilities where the food processing happens is centralized. And all these problems are interlinked. Since the processing facilities are centralized, there is a lot of wastage at farm gate, because of which they have to procure the fruit which is still raw in bulk amounts, and they ripen them in ripening chambers. So usually, when the season of a fruit is going on, there is a lot of overripening and climate changes that happen, and there is high wastage at farm gate in developing nations. And this causes a lot of greenhouse gas emissions also, because grade B and grade C varieties of very low market value, and usually the farmers don't get a price for that. They sell the grade A variety, and that's it. The last of the produce is wastage, the grade B and grade C, and this is in huge amounts. It amounts up to 20,000 crores if you calculate and if you see the government reports that have been shared earlier, leading to the high wastage and low food availability are very low in comparison to China, where the food processing is usually higher than 50%. And India is the second largest producer of fruit and vegetables in the whole world, but we process less than 3% of it. All processing facilities are centralized, and it limits the processing capabilities geographically because we cannot reach to the rural areas, and it limits the capital utilization as well. So what InnoFarms came up with was a solution with a technology in which we have downsized and downscaled aseptic plant. These work at the capacity of 5 tons per hour, but we have downsized this to 1 ton per day. And the second option is 5 tons per day. And this is a patent pending technology. Our patent has been accepted, but not yet granted. It's still in process. And what it does it that this machine can be farm mounted, or it can be mounted at the back of a truck. There is you get the fruit from the kisan, which is grade B and grade C variety, but still not rotten, which is a low market value, and the fruit is processed. It's a UHT or fruit pulp. So we pack the fruit pulp made out of it into sterilized bags. This fruit pulp is preservative free, chemical free, and has a shelf life of 18 months without any cold storage, and it is stable for 18 months at room temperature. So with this on-farm processing is enabled. We provide farm ripened fruit pulp. There is no need of artificial chambers, artificial ripening chambers, and it's a fruit agnostic processing solution. The picture which has been shown here is from a plant in Savai Madhopur, which is in Rajasthan, and here we do the processing of guava on the farm gate. The key features and advantages of this solution is it's IoT enabled, which gives a better control and traceability, and all utilities are built in. So if you have to sort the fruits, if you have to wash the fruits, the tank, you containerize the unit. And even if it's not containerized, if it's farm mounted, all the solutions are provided along with it. And it's an insulated cabin, so it provides the best class hygiene standards. We have been running these plants since the last 4 years. Approximately 1 year went into R&D and prototyping, and the pulp shelf life is very stable, up to 18 months. The advantages are processing is directly at farm. It reduces the cost of transportation and raw material. Since the fruit is about to go bad or over ripened or early ripened, so the farmer has to anyway throw it. So we get the fruit at a very low cost. And there is a better capital utilization if you make a mobile unit. So you can, for example, you have a truck mounted machine in Rajasthan area. So what you can do is you can uh, pulp guava in the months from December to February. After that, you can give 1 month break, and in April, May, you can take the unit to UP and pulp mangoes. So with this, you can run the unit close to 200 days a year. And commodities, we have a very short harvest season or a small harvest season like lychee and kiwi, and go bad within days, can be processed very fast, and the operation costs are similar to a full scale setup. I would like to tell you about my team and partnerships. Sudhanshu Gupta is the founder and the engineer. I take care about the product development, R&D, biological part. Himanshu is our business developer. We have been incubated at IMA Ventures and NIAM, also at iStart Rajasthan. We have partnered with FPOs like Unnati, ISEF, Pramarth, Janki Agro, and our mentors are Professor Amarnath from IIT Bombay, Mr. Mukesh Gupta, who has a 35 years of experience in food processing, and Sunil Khernaji, with an experience in Agri-Startups and commodities, is from ISAP. Innofarms is aligned with sustainable development goals. So we provide better income to small and marginal farmers. There is deeper penetration into food processing areas and non-accessible rural areas. And a lot of non-farming jobs have been created. Low cost of fruit pulp, and there is better taste due to on-farm ripening. Complete traceability is provided. A significant reduction in greenhouse gas there, because the fruit which has been wasted does not end up in landfills, and there is better utilization of water and other natural resources. I would like to show you a video of our recent setup in Baramulla, Jammu Kashmir, for the processing of apples. And this is a mobile unit. We did the trials last year, and this year the unit has been set up and running in Baramulla for the processing of apples, and aseptic pulp is made out of it.
There is no audio coming. You can explain if it is possible.
Amidji, you're saying something?
Yeah, there is no audio is coming from the video, so you can explain.
There is no audio. It is,
Right.
you just have to see it. Is you
Okay,
can
okay,
so
fine.
So now sorting of the food going on. So thank you so much to everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much. That video gives us a little bit idea, madam, that what kind of setups farm is trying to give to the processors. And the very interesting thing that
Yes.
you presented, presentation, that the mobile processing unit, the van, it is quite interesting, and it's I must feel that it is a required at a farm level, or maybe the clusters where this production is happening. They require such a kind of
Exactly.
setup. So yeah,
Yes.
very inspiring story, I must say. And you got incubation supports under RKVY-RAFTAAR. It's a really proud thing us also that one of the incubatee is doing really good things. So with this, I would like to say thank you to Dr. Lisa ma'am, and I request to again to all the participants, if you have any questions, you can put in the chat box, or you may raise the hands directly ask to the questions. Of course, I have to put some questions to me. I'll go with that first. So the first question, Renuka ma'am, allow me to ask you that you are dealing in such a product where mainly the food product validation, certification, and testing is to be done in a large scale, and mainly many startups are stuck at that level only, although they have good product in place, but the validation, something, the credentials that need to be obtained, they're not getting the right direction or the way. So what could be your advice in what way they should go and approach to these institutions?
Yeah, no, that is a very important and a very big hurdle. So what we started doing is basically, first of all, in the area that we are there, there are some aspects which are for which regulations exist today. So there are regulatory framework that are existing for microbes. On the mineral mobilization aspect, there are regulatory frameworks that are existing for molecules as well as microbes on the plant protection aspect. But in the middle category where we work on, which is biostimulants, also, the guideline is still evolving. So there's a lot of challenge that is in terms of what exactly is the regulatory process, where will it go? So we actually also have to work one step ahead, which is participating and advocating for the policy documents. So what kind of policy framework needs to be in place? What should the government be actually, assessing the product against? How the assessment should, run? What kind of lab equipment should be in place? We have to start advocacy even at that stage. And this is something we do very seriously and consciously, not because we are a startup in this space, but also because it's vital for the startups that come after us. So we want to work in such a manner that हमारे लिए तो काफी troublesome रहा है. But by doing what we could, if it enables 10 other startups and they don't have to go through this pain, then I think, it would be such a huge, validation for us as well. But actual getting validations part, there are several regulations in place where you have to work with GLP approved laboratories. You have to work with NABL approved laboratories, and they may or may not have a complete understanding if you are putting something innovative out. So we've also gone ahead and done partnerships with really cutting edge laboratories in India. So we work with IITs, ICERs, we worked with NCBS. So we work with a lot of these research institutes where on a research level we can get all of these technologies or all of these estimation methodologies validated. Once that is in place, even though they are one of the premier institutes in India, their reports don't hold any merit when it comes to an actual registration or a regulatory perspective. So we have to take all of this and then go to a NABL or a other government mandated laboratories, explain all of this to them and get the same essay done from them as well. So they may not even have an idea of how to do this. So you have to, go back and work with these agencies so that you get your validations. If you're looking at on-field validations, then on-field validations are best done with ICAR universities or ICAR institutes. So find institutes and universities that work in this area, find scientists, do your initial validations and then set up your actual regulatory related validation. So initially it can be a daunting task to find exactly whom to connect to and how these things move. Let me tell you, that can also be a full-time job. So it's best if you have a licensed person for this. And the best kind of licensed persons often come from agri universities themselves. So find some person who's done PhD from an agri university, then they basically have connects everywhere. So, that is what has helped us.
Yeah, Dr. Renuka, very well said. That definitely for the validation part, startups do need to keep eyes on the agricultural universities. Saying from the agriculture startup perspective, agriculture universities, KVKs, and of course the national institutes and the incubation centers who are maybe going to help you to get the validation part. Ma'am, Renuka ma'am, again, I'm asking the same question in a same point of view that at early stage startups don't have that much of money to burn, and for getting these kinds of laboratory testings they require to pay more. Do we have any system in place for the startups can avail this benefit in a minimal cost, or what exactly your thoughts on that?
I wish there was a mechanism where startups were charged in a different manner as opposed to what a MNC is charged. Today, to do all of these validations, I pay the exact same amount that Syngenta pays or FMC pays or Corteva pays. So it is unfair, and we've made several cases on subsidizing these amounts for startups, but nothing has come out. So unfortunately, you have to make that expense. And doing the entire regulatory is anywhere close to 25 to 30 lakhs for a bio fertilizer, biostimulant, or a immunity kind of a product. And that can go up to a 40 to 50 lakhs or even higher if it's a plant protection product. So other way of startups to avoid this is actually validate your product in a good manner. Find partners who will take this product to the market and let them do this validation. If you're a research-based organization, then this is not just one product that you will develop. If you have many in the pipeline, then for the initial one, you could look at ways of partnering with a company where the company then bears the expense. But remember, there's a trade-off. If the company bears the expense, then the company will look at getting exclusive rights of distributing the products. So it's a give and take relationship. Tread carefully there. But if you have many other products in the pipeline, it's a way to explore getting things done without cost at your side.
Yeah, Renuka ma'am, of course, your advice is really going to be helpful to the startups that do partnerships. And also another thing you mentioned that you early stage got incubated with the incubation centers where these infrastructure laboratories are available. So the startups early stage, they can avail this facility to test it out more your products. I think it's going to be helpful. We'll go to the first question I can see from the participant side. Miss Shruti is there, and I think she is into the millet based products, and she wants to know any other government grants are there, especially for the millet products. I think she wants in that. So maybe I think Renuka ma'am or Dr. Lisa ma'am have more idea on that. Yeah, Dr. Lisa ma'am, you want to take up this question? Ma'am, you are on mute, ma'am.
Yes. Uh, I think, as we all know, 2023 was the year of millets. So a lot of government schemes were introduced, and maybe not. I am not aware of something at a very huge level, but NIAM, National Institute of Agriculture and Marketing, were also promoting a lot of startups with millet-based processing, and even a lot of cohorts in Jaipur were organized, since I am based out of Jaipur. But anything huge, I am not aware of. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so in addition to ma'am, Dr. Renuka, you want to add something, right?
Yes, I want to add something here that the government has put a special focus on processing. And if you are a startup that works on aggregating farmers at the village levels or even FPOs at village levels, do some processing and then put the products out in the market. There are special grants that are available for this. I'm sure that if you are not selling the pellets the way they are, I'm sure you're processing something on it. So you could look at the government grants that are available for the processing, setting up processing units. There are certain governments, so this is from center. There are certain governments that are having, state governments that are having special programs. So UP government has a very special program on millet processing. So please check that out. You can find details on the Minister Agri Department's website. So please check UP government for millet processing grants.
Yeah, in addition to this, Shruti, I want to say something. Uh, Lisa ma'am, okay, I'll come to you again.
Okay.
Then I'll come to you. Yeah.
Can I speak? Okay.
Yes, yes,
So,
ma'am. Yes.
Shruti, MoFP is an organization, a government body, which, if you have some food processing machinery, if you require food processing machinery under your startup, they give 50% subsidy for that. And from the center, they give 50% subsidy. If you apply from the state, then it's 35%. And also in Maharashtra, there is a scheme called Magnet. This is a Maharashtrian government scheme, and they give 90% subsidy in food processing machinery. So for the processing part, the machinery can be subsidized.
Very true, ma'am. Along with that Shruti, PMFME under scheme, there are large benefits are there. Also, Manage is a partner with ICAMR, millet-based. We are partner for them. So you can approach for the food processing any help you required, or maybe technology transfer purpose, or what sort of machines you required. So Manage can connect you with ICAMR NutriHub. So they are specially working for the millet products only for the processing part. And also under that RKVY-RAFTAAR program, what Manage is running, we can get up to 5 to 25 lakh rupees as a grant. So of course, for the millet, so many grants and funds are there. And if you want more information on that, you can refer our a special webinar series from 161 to 1 up to 169. We run a special webinars on the government schemes and funds. So on that also, you can refer whatever schemes are benefiting to you. I hope you got a lot of insights from the speakers and our end, and it will be solve your questions. Going to further, there is a one question is coming from the Qazi Abdul Hassan, and this question is for the Dr. Lisa. Ma'am, that mobile unit what you presented, your presentation. What exactly the capacity and how much it will cost if anyone wants to buy it or rent it out? Yeah, Lisa ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so Abdul, someone is asking that the mobile van process unit which you presented, how much it will cost, or if you want to someone to rent it out, what will be the cost for that, and how they
Okay.
can approach you
Um,
also.
yes. Okay. I told you there are two capacities of the processing unit. 1 ton per day capacity processing unit, which runs at 200 kilograms per hour, cost 40 lakhs, and five.
Ma'am, we're not able to hear you properly. Hello. Ma'am, I request you to turn off your video so that you'll get better bandwidth.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have worked so far with 6 FPOs, from one in Baramulla, one in UP, one in Nashik, two in Rajasthan, one in Punjab. So they have availed the 50% subsidy and gotten the units subsidized.
Yeah, ma'am. And the capacity and the cost, we missed you for a few seconds, ma'am. If you can
Oh, okay.
repeat it. Yeah.
So there are two capacities. 1 ton per day runs at 200 kilograms per hour. It costs 40 lakhs. And 5 ton per day, which runs at a capacity of 500 to 800 kilograms per hour, costs 1.5 CR.
Yeah, I hope Abdul sir, you got the answer. And if you have any questions or the queries related to the product, you can write to Lisa ma'am. The speaker's details also we have already put in the chat box, and we're going to send the email also, so that if you have any queries, you can got connect with that. So one more question to the both the speakers from my end. That you are into the some specific agriculture agri-tech startups, ma'am, and how it is difficult you to get the a skilled manpower, especially the startups at that stage not able to pay that much of money, and the skilled manpower always they're looking for to work with any multinational companies. So how it is challenging for you, and in what way actually you get this skilled manpower for your startup to run it the business?
Renuka ma'am, you can go ahead first.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. Yeah, it is definitely a challenge, and in agri-food domain, there are multiple opportunities with FMCs, large Indian companies as well. But here, I think what has helped us is telling the people who are joining that we would give them in 4 years what these MNCs would give them in 20 years. So with 4x growth on a startup side, we also promise an equal growth for the employee side also. In a startup, there are multiple opportunities that a person can take up, which whereas the roles become very restrictive in a MNC. So a lot of people are actually looking out for a growth that is beyond what an MNC can give. And these actually would be the right kind of people to have in your startup. The last thing is just creating a pool of ESOPs or shares which can be allocated to employees who are joining you at early stages, taking risks on their careers to build your startup. So you can award them shares that can be vested over a couple of years, so that they also feel incentivized and they earn out of the actual growth of your startup also. Nothing motivates people than actually feeling like they are a part of the growth story or the transformation story that they are building for your company. So you should find ways to, have people feel that they are a part of this journey that you are building. They need to feel that. So you need to make sure that they feel that sense of belonging.
Very, very true, ma'am. Dr. Lisa, you want to add?
Yes, you are very right that it's very difficult to find the right talent, and then even more challenging to retain the right talent once you've had them. So so far we have been lucky. We are a small team of 15 to 20 people, but we try and once we find the right person, we try and connect and uh, help them help us hire further if we need some more team members. And also we have kept a very flat hierarchy in our startup, because it's important for people to feel that their opinion, their talent, their skill matters in the startup. When they feel that they belong here, it brings a huge happiness and a sense of belonging, that I matter. So a flat hierarchy is something that I recommend, and I want to keep on going with it. And since a startup, when joining a startup, you take a hit somewhere on your salary and your career. So like Renuka ma'am said, we also provide ESOPs, which can be vested over a period of 3 to 4 years, so that they get an incentive apart from the salary. And also we we help them as far as we can, personally, professionally, to grow and to like startup involves going to a lot of sites and field with, for example, in Kashmir recently, then in UP. So we try and connect with the people at a personal level.
Yeah, very true. And I think definitely this strategy, or must say this advice, going to be really helpful to the startups who are actually facing this really a serious issue and the problem with the startups to get the talented manpower and that to retain them for a longer time. And as correctly Renuka ma'am mentioned, that if you motivate them that they are the part of the your founding team, definitely they will do their best. So of course, these ideas and the strategy is going to be helpful to our today's participants who joined us today. Yeah, we are coming to the with this coming to the end of the webinar. But before that, I would like to make the few announcement and request to everyone, participants, kindly do provide us the feedback of the today's webinar. And if you want to arrange such a webinars on different topics in upcoming Saturdays, do let us know. Do write us on the email mention, and you can put it in the feedback form. Also, along with that, there is one announcement for the Manage Agri Startup Award. I think BioPrime is one of them. Last the award date. So like that, you can take the advantage of this award this year. That application is open till this 31st of January. So you can share these links with your the startups, or you can apply this startup award. Also, do register to our one of the training program, online training program, digital marketing. So this online training program you can attend online for next 15 days, so that in a way you can promote yourself in a better way. So with this, I'd like to say thank you to the participants and Dr. Renukar madam. I know you and Dr. Lisa ma'am, you are very busy. Still, you make out time for us and to share your experience with us. Very thank you so much, and we wish you the best for the BioPrime and Innova Farms from the managed team. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and all the best to all the startups and the students here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.